This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, followed by my co-host, halfway around the world, the Primus, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good on this Wednesday morning / afternoon, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Are you making your picks for the NFL again?
Nope. I'm just typing in some stuff. So go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, no. Before we get this started, I know a lot of people are watching the weather.
Yep.
I've got a lot of family and friends that live in Florida. Some that are in direct line with Milton. To all my friends, family, and people I don't know if anybody was watching from Florida on Facebook or YouTube or wherever we all might be streaming from, please be safe. I know you're running out of time to evacuate. You guys should have done that last 2 days. If not, please be safe.
Yes, exactly. I got my cousin's down there. He's touched base with my uncle. He's doing good. Him and his family are hunkered down. So, for everybody that's down in that area in line with that hurricane coming through, please be safe. Let everybody know that you're doing okay when you can. But most important, just watch out for yourself and just take cover or get out of town, one of the two. Not to be insensitive or something. If I would like to be in the middle of a hurricane, just watching stuff go around. If I knew I was safe, and it's one of those things where it's like, I know the severity of it and stuff like that, but it's like, it's one of those things where, if I would like to sit through it if I knew like I was 100% safe and everybody else was safe. So
yeah, and it's weird because my first week in Florida was August of 2004. I think I was there a week and experienced my first hurricane, and everybody's like, "Oh, we don't really get one, that and the other thing." And much like the way the Tampa area is going to be soon, they had Helene, and 13 days later, they got Milton. I was lucky enough to go through almost the exact same thing. My first month there, I went through 2 hurricanes. My first 5 months, I think I went through a total of 5.
Wow.
And they're not fun. I can remember, what is it, back in 2017, I want to say it was, where I was talking to, at the time, before she became my wife, I was standing out in the middle of the road during a hurricane just to prove a point.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that again.
I get it. I mean, it's just like living up here in Minnesota. It's like, God, if I could be safe, I would love to see a tornado just whip by me.
I'm one of those too.
I don't want it to happen. But yes, again, thoughts and prayers to everybody that's out there. So, all right. With that being said, we are going to do our states that are famous people, or states with famous people that they were born in. This should have been last week, but with the respect that we paid out for the people that passed, we pushed it back. So, all right. So with that being said, we got 6 states. Again, If we make a mistake and everybody's like trying to fact check us and say, "Oh no, he wasn't born in there," we get it. We understand. The websites we go to might lie once in a while, but we try to do our best. So we're going to start with Indiana, the Hoosier State. So I would, I'm going to start big. I'm going to go big this week. I am going to have 4.
4.
4, and I would say our top 3 is going to be in some kind of order.
I'm looking at how many double ups, just out of curiosity.
I have no double ups throughout the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got a couple.
I probably could have doubled up on some, but
I've got 3 alone in this one by itself. I could have did a triple up, but I'm gonna go. I like your 4. I'll go with that.
Well, especially since you doubled up 3 times. I mean,
I'm pretty safe.
All right, let's go.
All right, I'm going to start off in Major League Baseball. I think it's the right time now that we're in the middle. We're neck deep in the in the MLB playoffs. I remember him quite fondly. I remember his baseball card. 80. I want to say it was the 83 Topps, where he was standing at first base. The Simpsons made a running joke where Monty Burns, and I think it was kind of a play off of the whole George Steinbrenner thing about where he had to have his hair cut in a certain way, and Monty Burns gave the same crap and say to the same player, and then turned around. I think is he with the Dodgers still?
I think he's done managing.
He's done managing. To me, this guy will always be the first baseman for the New York Yankees.
Yep.
My number 5 is Donnie Baseball himself, Don Mattingly.
Yeah, that Simpson episode, he comes in with his, and he's like, "Nope, you gotta shave him." He cuts him down, and he's like, "Nope, you gotta come down," and like he's like took some of his skin away. So yeah,
cuts the sideburns up to the top of his head.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go with the lovely lady who, younger days you saw her on Soul Train a lot. Now you see her in a lot of different TV shows, actress, beautiful lady, Vivian A. Fox. I'm gonna go with. So you're number 4.
My number 4 is one of my double ups. I'm going to the squared circle.
Ooh.
We were unlucky enough to lose one of these wrestlers last year, and to figure out that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, my 4A was the last match of my 4B, and at one point they were tag team partners in the WWE. I think it was before they took the F out. Everybody thinks my number 4 is from New York. He's not. But these two guys are definitely legends in their own right. Both hardcore legends. Absolutely
that way.
Absolute crazy. To lose one before Bray Wyatt, almost the day before Bray Wyatt, was kind of a shock. I remember him in Roadhouse. He was the bouncer. He was the bodyguard in Roadhouse. Yep. He was a bouncer in Roadhouse, and he was a bodyguard in Over the Top.
Yep.
And then he's such a huge reason why ECW, him and my number 4A, I think became such very, very huge. And then you got Mama Foley's baby boy, who became the icon basically after he pitches himself off probably one of the most memorable matches in wrestling history, after he gets pitched off the top of a Hell in a Cell against the Undertaker. I read his first book, Have a Nice Day. It's an absolute treat to read. It's amazing. It's funny. My number 4A and 4B were, like I said, tag team partners. My 4A was the tag team partner known as Cactus Jack. Otherwise known, I was lucky enough to see him in a pay-per-view against Stone Cold as Dude Love. He also had the other alter ego of Mankind. And then his tag team partner was Chainsaw Charlie.
Yep.
Absolutely, probably part of the bigger pioneering families in wrestling in itself, and the Funks. My 4B is Terry Funk. And I think they were born in the same city.
Okay. All right. So my number 4, I did miss those wrestlers because one website, it's like I saw these guys right off the bat, and I'm just like, okay. My number 4 is late night show host. Some you either liked them or you didn't, and that's one David Letterman.
I like David. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're number 3.
To think he owned a racing team, and he's fans of the Colts, so I should like him more. My number 3, we're not a political channel, we're not a political show. We might be a political channel, depends, but we're not a political show. But when you have 2 presidents that were born in your state, you kind of put them on the list, and usually they're number 1. But when you've got our number 1 and number 2, yeah, I kind of went away from them. I've got the 23rd president of the United States, Benjamin Harrison, and I've got the 19th president of the United States, William Henry Harrison.
That's big. That is big. Yeah. If I would have went to the website I normally do, I probably would have. Vivian Fox definitely would not have. David Letterman probably wouldn't have been on this list either. My number 3 is the King of Pop. Just lost one of his brothers a few weeks ago. We lost him. We lost him probably a little bit too soon than we should have. But my number 3 is Michael Jackson.
If you have him at number 3, who did I miss?
I don't know.
Huh. All right. Because now I'm really worried.
You're number 2.
My number 2 is the best basketball player to ever come out of the state of Indiana. Probably has one of the greatest rivalries in sports history. And I'm talking sports history, because if it wasn't for Indiana State playing Michigan State in the national championship game, we don't get this kid. We don't get this guy. Another guy who's got a nickname, because that's who he is. Probably, to me, Bill. I'll give you Bill Russell being the best Celtic ever, but my number 2 is the guy right behind him, the kid from French Lick. And it's amazing what he's doing, what he did on the court. Probably one of the more pure 3-point shooters in NBA history. Probably the top five NBA players of all time. I've got number 2, and my number 2 is number 33 from the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird.
All right, there's one. We got Larry Bird at number 2, like you said, second greatest Celtic. Yeah, by far, this is team rivalry. Him and Magic Johnson, him and Jordan was decent, but him and Magic, I think, by far top 10 rivalries, and I'm including teams, I'm including wrestlers, definitely. So you're number 1. Who did
My
you?
number 1. My number 1 kind of is a snipe in a way, but I'm going huge because you took one family member. I'm taking the entire Jackson 5, and I'm taking Janet Jackson with him, because Gary, Indiana, you would have never figured that the band of pop and the king of pop all would have come from Gary, Indiana, which, from what I've heard, is the armpit of the country. That's not my words. That seems like it's the public consensus. But yeah, my number 1 is your number 3. in a
The
way.
Jackson Fives. Okay. Yeah, I guess I could throw them all up there.
I had to look. I had to make sure because I had to look. I go, can I put the Jackson 5 on there because I want to be they're all from Gary, Indiana, and they're all from Gary.
So my number one,
Oh, here we go. Who did I miss?
probably one of the icons back in his day, the Justin Bieber before Justin Bieber came along. Just coolest guy. You just see the images, and most of them are with him having a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Okay.
But I think every guy back in the day wanted to be him, and and that's one James Dean.
Yeah, he's number 7.
Yeah.
I had to look up. Oh, who did I miss? And I didn't miss. I just
No, you didn't miss. You just didn't put him on there. And the one wrestler you missed too was Ultimate Warrior.
really.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Even
no,
though
I was looking when you started talking wrestlers. I forgot Funk was on there. Then I wouldn't have put McFoley on there. I would have fact checked you on that one. But yeah. I was through the list and I don't know, Ultimate Warrior from Indiana. So
I'm all about people fact checking me. I don't have a problem with it.
oh yeah, exactly. Especially a topic like this, it happens. All right, so let's go to Iowa. Man, this is gonna be a tough one. God. I'm gonna play it safe and go 3, but I think
3.
I think we go more, but I'm gonna play it safe.
3 safe. I think 4 we could hit.
Yeah.
It depends. I think the 5th one would be a little difficult unless you really know things. But
yeah, we know nothing. So. My number 5. You want presidents from Indiana? I'm going presidents here at number 5 in Iowa. Herbert Hoover, the 31st president.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
All right. My number 5 is not Herbert Hoover. To me, I would have loved to have met this guy. I'm not an Indians fan, Guardians fan, or whatever you want to call him this week.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Indians pitchers, most people will say, they would find people who have watched baseball now. And I'm the guy who would find the people from the past. To me, probably arguably the top 2 pitchers in Cleveland Indian history. To me, I think he's the greatest Indian pitcher of all time, Bob Feller.
Yeah, I saw that one. My number 3, just in the world of sports, especially football, I think he's the poster boy of you just take your time and run with it. You 1 week you might be in training camp, the next week you're bagging groceries or selling insurance. And then next you're in an arena football league. Then you're in a pro football league. You're going to a Super Bowl. Now you're, I think, doing some announcing and stuff like that. One Arizona Cardinal, St. Louis Ram, Green Bay Packer, Kurt Warner.
I'm going to be real mad at myself if Kurt Warner's from Iowa.
What's that?
I said I'm going to be real mad at myself if Kurt Warner's from Iowa, considering who else I have got on this list.
Yeah. You're number 4.
He would be from Burlington. My number 4. If anybody watched the Chicago Bears Indianapolis game, they saw my number 4. He wasn't in the game, but somehow became part of the sideline festivities. The only wrestler that I know that is married to the man who's not a man. I absolutely he's starting to get up there in that list of guys of probably one of the better workers in the business, and not just the WWE. I love what he's doing. I could do without his entrance his entrance gear because I don't know what in the world. No, that entrance is fine. It's the gear that I have a problem with.
Actually, he came out Monday with a pretty normal gear on. Wasn't too.
Him and Normal aren't ever since he became the whole freaking show. Basically, the became whatever. I liked it. The Architect. I love the fact is of what he's doing. My number 4 is Colby Lopez, otherwise known as Seth freaking Rollins.
Yep, that is my number 4 right there. Seth Rollins, the Architect, the freaking show. And I mean, what he's doing right now with some of these storylines is pretty interesting.
I like the guy. I like the guy. That guy is just, to me, I didn't like him, and when he was doing the whole fit turn on the Shield, and I thought it was perfect. I thought it was brilliant.
No, that Shield turn was really good. So, you're number 3.
My number 3. You brought up one late night host in Indiana. I'm bringing up a late night host in Iowa. The guy that you brought up thought was the rumored guy that was going to take over for my guy in Iowa, but then lost out to Jay Leno. Not the world's rightest move, I think. But to me, I remember for the longest time, and I listened to a lot of people talk about my number 3, about what it was like being a stand-up comedian and getting invited over to the couch and how rare it was and what a big honor it was to be invited over to the couch on this show. But my number 3 was the guy who took over, I think, for after Alan Parr. I might be wrong on that. And then ran that show for 30 years almost until Jay Leno took over. My number 3, and I'm going to die on this hill, the king of late night himself, Johnny Carson.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that. I have him at number 2, Johnny Carson. Just one of those things where, he's the king. I mean, maybe, I can't even think of anybody else that would even come close to Johnny Carson. So, number 2. You got him at number 3. I took him at number 2. Your number 2.
My number 2 is it's the phrase that pays. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number 5. My mind goes in because you know where I put my presidents. So so my number 2 is your number 5.
All right, so you took my number 2. So I got the first snipe there.
You're gonna get the next snipe too at this point, if I know this right.
Yep. My number 1. What can you say when you got named the Duke? Whatever else nicknames you pretty much back in your day, you're the hottest thing going. You were in everything, just like James Dean, John Wayne.
Oh, yep. It's the phrase that pays when you think about it. One Marion Morrison. Of course, you're not making it in Hollywood under the name Marion Morrison, so you become John Wayne. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the football name the Duke in the NFL was named after John Wayne, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, that's something that could be. We got a comment here from Carrie. Hey, Carrie, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hold on,
we definitely will get you on a show. Matter of fact, message me if you're free. We are doing our fantasy show right after this show. So if you could get on StreamYard, we will love to have you on for our show after this show. So message me on Facebook. So we did good. 4 out of 5. I thought maybe, Kurt Warner would have probably slid in, but who do you take out? I mean, so
the funny thing is, I had James T. Kirk and Joe Burrow on the list too.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Kentucky. Let's go. This one could be
horrible.
Well, honestly, I think
I'm doubled up on 2 spots, if that helps you.
Ooh, really?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 because I don't know. I could see 4 or 5, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. Let's go 3.
I'll give you your 4. I like your
All
4.
right, well, kick it off. Let's see where we're at.
My number 5. Well, this is one of my double ups. I did say I have double ups in this. There's this story that I tell. When I was a kid, when we went on family vacations, we listened to a lot of old country music stuff from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. I know one of my guys is technically kind of bluegrass, but we listened to a lot of stuff, and we listened to Coal Miner's Daughter and everything else, and we really enjoy country music. One of my mom's favorite artists is my 5A, and I really love the banjo picking of my 5B. My 5A is Loretta Lynn, and my 5B is Ricky Skaggs.
Oh wow, Loretta Lynn. That's a big miss there. That's a big miss. I was struggling. I must have just overlooked it. Wow. My number 5, actor, I believe.
I love that.
I don't know why the name really stuck out to me.
I always love that response. An actor, I believe.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's like I saw the name, and I'm just like, okay, I know him, and you do a little research on him. It's just like, God, actor, film producer. I know I've seen him in stuff. My number 5 is William Conrad.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were headed towards.
Oh, I wonder who you thought I was heading towards.
Oh, that's my other double up.
All right.
Double up.
All right, you're number 4.
My number 4, a Notre Dame great. I have an autograph of this guy. I pulled it out of a pack, so I was not lucky enough to meet this man. Heisman Trophy winner, 3-time Hall of Famer. Once in the College Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, I think when you and I went to the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame, we saw his accoutrement, let's just say, in at the Packer Hall of Fame, and he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Like I said, I have his autograph. I think he still holds a couple records in Green Bay. But my number 4 is Paul Hornung.
Ooh, yeah, did see that one. All right, my number 4. I know you don't have the story because you guys, when you guys travel, but I know when I DJ'd up at Night Moves where we met, I know I played his song a few times when we did a different country set here and there. I think if I would have DJ'd and he would have been more popular or had a few songs now, I probably still would have played them. And that's one, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah. Was that who I was thinking about when I was talking about country music?
No, I knew that wasn't. I knew. I just didn't. I forgot Loretta Lynn. So, all right, you're number 3.
All right, my number 3 is my other double up. Now you'll understand where I have a question. 2 actors who both started in TV. One on Facts of Life, briefly. Then he shows up again for a little bit briefly in Facts of Life, and then he was in Roseanne for a little brief period of time. And then he was in a small little TV show that my wife loves and still have never figured out why. A little TV show called ER. And then becomes this massively huge superstar. And I watched stuff on YouTube, and they got commercials with this guy selling Nescafe. And he's played Batman, he's played Bruce Wayne, he's played in Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. He seems to be playing opposite Julia Roberts every chance they can get. But my number 3B. My 3B was known for a TV show called 21 Jump Street when he first came into Hollywood. And then he did this little movie called Crybaby. And then got bigger and started doing things called Edward Scissorhands. And then all of a sudden, he blows up huge and becomes Jack Sparrow. And then got even bigger, and his wife sued him. But we don't talk about that. That's like we don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about the court case between my number 3B and Amber Heard. We just don't do it. But my number 3B, we'll start off with that, is Johnny Depp. And my 3A is George Clooney.
Well, I'll give you one of those. My number 3 is definitely the guy that you named that just keeps doing these little roles and then all of a sudden blows up here and there. And that is one Johnny Depp. Loved him in Crybaby. I don't care what anybody says.
Love Crybaby. Still my favorite role of his, Crybaby.
Actually, Edward Scissorhands wasn't so bad.
It's Crybaby was huge.
Oh no, Crybaby definitely was the one. And then of course, like you said, Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. I think a lot of people. I'm just looking at some of his other ones. Charlie Chocolate Factory in 2005, Finding Neverland, Nightmare on Elm Street. He was in.
That was his first movie.
Yeah. Wow, they don't even put Crybaby on here.
They do. You got to look for it.
Well, I'm looking at his little description of awards and stuff like that. Maybe
he didn't win awards for it.
Yeah, maybe that's why it was. That I'm just thinking of that because I was thinking that
the best place to look for stuff like that.
He directed Crybaby too. Wow.
No, that was John Waters.
He acted independent films with and directed. Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, Crybaby was John Waters.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, yeah. So you're number 2.
My number 2 to this day, and I will fight anybody, to me, is the greatest of all time. I will fight everybody, anybody, and everybody about this guy being the greatest of all time, the greatest heavyweight champion of the world. The guy who loved wrestling, who's technically, if you've seen your son play WWE 2K24 has a DLC, is part of a DLC.
I think we have it.
Yeah, and I've got it. The reason why he loved wrestling, and you could hear it when he decided to conduct interviews before his fights, and he loved it. He loved it because he loved watching Gorgeous George and cut promos left, right, and center. Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
All right, my number 2, second part of your double up there. I got George Clooney on there. You know, back when he was popular, everything he was in was golden. Ocean's 11 and 12 definitely were iconic. Batman. So, yeah, George Clooney. You're number 1. Now I'm kind of curious who I missed here.
My number 1. Let me double check. Okay. My number 1. My number 1 was a president.
Really?
My number 1 was a president who went to a theater, a little-known theater called Ford Theater. Died 2 days later because he was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. Most people think that he was born in Illinois because they call it the land of Lincoln. He's not born in Lincoln. Some people think that he was born in Nebraska because Lincoln is a major city in Nebraska.
Wow.
But if you look at your penny and you look at your $5 bill, you will see the 16th president of the United States, the man who freed the slaves, gave the Emancipation Proclamation. And at one point, I knew the entire Gettysburg Address. I don't remember none of it anymore. And I was the only one in my school that knew it. But my number one is Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I swung and missed that one, but my number one is your number two. You had no arguments from me that he is the greatest all around. I should say all around, but definitely heavyweight boxer. I just love his catchphrase, "Sting like a bee," float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. There's a clip of him sitting in the corner dodging punches for somebody, and then he sits there and does a little wiggle after. I guess he made cockiness cool back in the day, I guess. But yeah, Muhammad Ali. Yeah. So, all right, Miss Lincoln. All right. Yeah. So, all right. So let's go to Louisiana. Yeah, this one was a tough one.
It wasn't that tough. It was just a fact just to try to narrow it down.
Yeah. I'm gonna play safe. I'm gonna go 3, but
I've got a.
this is a sneaky one where I think we could go 5.
Here's a sneak thing. I've got a triple up and 2 double ups.
Oh Jesus! All right, well I'll go first. What can you say about this actress?
She's an actress. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I know who I'm.
Just Legally Blonde, Cruel Intentions.
Love Cruel Intentions.
I'm trying to think of some other movies she was in, but she was all over the place.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home, that's the one. Yeah, that's Sweet Home Alabama. I think that's the one that kind of put her on the map a little bit with Sweet Home Alabama. Walk the Line was another one too. My number 5 is Reese Witherspoon.
We're not going. Well, the conventional 5 for 5, we're not going.
Okay.
We still make no because you don't double up, so we're not getting 5 conventional or non-conventional. My number 5 is how we always talk about and to me, I think my brother and I have had this conversation. If a fictional character fought a real life character, what would that look like? What would that be? How good would that be? And the funny thing is, I brought up Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali in the last one. My number 5.
You went him right away.
My number 5. I thought, and I have an autograph of this guy, but it's in the United States, so that tells you how sucky this is. But I always remember him in the Rocky movies, and I'd love to see Apollo Creed take on Muhammad Ali, because it would just seem like they both had the same brashness, they had the same both cockiness, yep. And I think somehow that Apollo was kind of based a little bit off of Muhammad Ali because of the things he said and all that other stuff. But everything else that you've seen him in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You saw him in you saw him in The Longest Yard with, I want to remember if it's his Longest Yard with, no, he wasn't in The Longest Yard with the Adam Sandler Longest Yard. No, but I remember he wasn't an Adam Sandler movie though. He did play Chubbs in Happy Gilmore. And then he, just before he passed away, was that earlier this year? Yeah. He was in the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. My number 5 is Apollo himself, Carl Weathers.
God, you're just rolling them out today. Yes, Carl Weathers. He was in Toy Story series. He was in, which I was just like dumbfounded when it all came out that when he passed and they're playing his accolades and I would not have put Paul Creed and Chubbs together as the same person. They just look totally different. But yeah, Carl Weathers is my number 4. You're number 3.
My number 4.
I started. Yeah, you're right.
You started. My number 4, I've got it as one of my 2 double ups. Two NBA players that are in the NBA top 50. Both were huge in the 90s. Both lost to Michael Jordan in the 90s in the NBA Finals. Matter of fact, one of my guys lost to Isaiah Thomas in an NBA Finals too. What can you say when you've got one guy? They both have nicknames. One went to Phi Sama Jama at Houston. The other one went to Louisiana Tech. One eventually they ended up getting great point guards, but never won a championship. One went to Los Angeles to try to win a championship with Gary Payton and that other. And I still laugh at that one. My number 4A is Clyde Drexler. And my number 4B is Karl Malone.
Yeah. Ooh, I missed another one. All right. My number 3. A lot of people know me. When this girl came out, when she was older, of course. It was one of those crushes. You put her in the top. Your top 5 list or whatever, top 10. Saw her, in the Mickey Mouse Club when it got rebooted. She came out and was just a smoke show in that red outfit. Now she's kind of a little crazy, but probably still in my top 10. My number 3 is Britney Spears.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't. Honestly, I don't know why.
You're number 3.
My number 3, to me, one of them is my other double up. I like trying to cover my bases to get 5. To me, I think my one of them is probably in the top 10 of running backs of all time. Probably behind Lawrence Taylor is probably the second top 3 all-purpose running backs of all time. Can run out of the backfield, catch out of the backfield. Only the second player in NFL history to catch and rush for 1,000 yards in the same season. And then the other guy. If there was another guy for the Baltimore Ravens defense that I would consider the architect, I would consider this guy the architect. This basically, outside of Ray Lewis, wherever the Baltimore Ravens defense, this guy pretty much took it. My running back is from San Diego State, so Callan knows exactly who this guy is. The other went to the University of Miami. One was drafted by Indy, and for some reason we decided to trade him away to the St. Louis Rams to trade for a teammate of my 3B from the University of Miami. Kind of made me sick, made me upset because I thought we were drafting Ricky Williams, not Edgerrin James. Boy, and this is the second time on this list. There'll be another time on this list where I got mad that we traded somebody away and drafted somebody I didn't think we needed to draft. Again, a guy I have an autograph of. I have the autograph of 3A, but not 3B. My 3A is the Super Bowl, and he's a teammate of one of your other players on your list, from Kurt Warner. My number 3A is the great San Diego State running back, number 28, Marshall Faulk. And my 3B is the great out of the University of Miami, the Baltimore Ravens strong safety, free safety, whatever safety you wanted to play this week, Ed Reed.
Yep. My number 2, again, I know Tim will not have this guy on his list because he can't come up with the story of him traveling because he's a newer country.
Oh, you're gonna hate this.
Oh,
I have a story of the guy you're talking about, and I don't have him on my list.
But the
I
guy,
have a-
is actually, I honestly think he's somewhat of a better actor than he is a singer. But I remember, up in the nightclub I DJ'd at, we met at, played this song quite a bit. And actually, there's a couple songs I played of his quite a bit. And that's one, Tim McGraw.
Oh no! I thought it was the other guy.
Oh, who did I miss?
Because I thought you were going to tell me Trace Adkins.
Oh, no.
I met him. I met Trace Adkins in Indianapolis. Like I
Nice.
got a story for that guy.
Nice.
I don't.
All right.
Have
You're
Tim-
number 2.
I don't have Tim McGraw though. I kind of brought up about how Larry Bird is the second best Celtic of all time.
Yep.
Well, my number 2 is the greatest Celtic of all time.
Oh, I missed this one.
A man with 11 NBA championships. The guy who everybody seems to forget when we have a conversation about who the greatest of all time is, if you're counting by championships, between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. To me, I think this guy's in the top 4 all time. His battles between him and Wilt Chamberlain are stuff of legend, mostly because I don't think we can see him, because I don't think there's any video of him. But there was enough. I think in Wilt Chamberlain's book, he said this is the toughest guy he's ever faced. The man, the myth, the true legend, the number 6 of the Boston Celtics, Bill Russell.
Yeah, that's that one. All right, my number 1. When I saw the name, if I would have done better research, I would have, probably shifted him around a little bit. But I still think this guy still would have been number 1. Singer, musician, entertainer. I don't know, but one, Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, I had him on the list too at 6.
All right, you're number 1.
I guess this is another one where I had to do a little more, much like the Jackson family. I had to make sure that they were all born in the same state. Can't put Archie on the list because he was born in Mississippi.
Ooh.
But, I still think to this day the better athlete out of that family is Cooper. There's days where Peyton will tell you that the greatest teammate he's ever had, considering he's played with Hall of Famers, is still Cooper. He's still upset that he could never get to play Cooper with Cooper in college. My number 1 is the Manning family: Eli, Peyton, and Cooper.
Yeah. When you say Cooper's the best, it's just like, what happened to him?
He got hurt. He got hurt.
He got hurt? Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
He got hurt in his freshman year in college.
Gotcha. All right.
And that's the reason. That's
now
the reason.
grandson's in there too, right now?
Arch is at Texas. But the thing is, Cooper, that was the reason, because Cooper got hurt at Ole Miss. And if Cooper hadn't gotten hurt at Ole Miss, Peyton would have gone to Ole Miss.
Cooper's the oldest one?
Yep.
Oh, I thought he was the younger one. Okay.
No, he's older.
Okay. All right. So only got 1.
I still had. I had. The funny thing is, I had at 6. I had Louis Armstrong and Fats Domino. 7, I had Terry Bradshaw. 9, I had Trace Adkins. Terry Jr. at 11.
It was a tough one to narrow down. All right. So let's go to Maine. I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go with 1.
I can see 3.
Oh,
because I had a tough time just putting 5 together.
Yeah, I did too. So go ahead, kick it off with your number 5.
I would love to say I know this guy's, and the thing is, and most people who know me, who watch the show, know that I'm big into movies and big into Hollywood, and I don't know any of this guy's work. And this is how sad that is. But I noticed that, he's the patriarch of the Ford family in Maine. He's a 6-time Oscar award-winning director that by itself will tell you need to be on this list, because I don't think there are many directors that have six. I think there aren't many directors have four. But I have at my number 5 is a 6-time Oscar-winning award director, John Ford.
Okay. My number 5, a guy that, like your director, I saw this guy in that I can remember in one movie. I don't know what he's doing lately, but he was like the bad boy in the movie. He Emilio Estevez was in the movie, and that's the only name I could come up with right now because I can see the lady in there, chick from 16 Candles, I believe it was.
Molly Ringwald. Oh, okay, I know who you went with. Okay,
yeah,
I know you.
I am going with Judd Nelson.
Yeah, I'm like, I know who the heck did you go with, and then I realized Judd Nelson was on that list.
Yeah, the bad boy. All right, you're number 4.
All right, I got a new family story.
Uh-oh.
Because, eventually you got to stop listening to country music. But my family, especially on my mother's side, loved to play games, especially stuff like board games. Growing up like we did, and I remember, if I remember right, your family liked to play board games too. I might be wrong, but
No.
we got into a lot of board games and a lot of that stuff, and a lot of our childhood was basically either done by Parker Brothers or by this gentleman, a guy who pretty much revolutionized board games, and is still huge in the market today. My number 4 is Milton Bradley, not the baseball player.
Yeah, Milton Bradley. Yeah, games. You got that iconic name. My number 4, good actor. I first caught his first movie, Can't Buy Me Love, which I thought was great.
I love it. Absolutely love that movie.
And then he was in Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon. I think he's done some acting on TV. Grey's Anatomy, I think, was one of them.
Yeah.
But I like the guy, Patrick Dempsey.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
You're number 4. 3.
My number 3. My number 3 is a sports reporter who went to the University of Florida. And if it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't have this picture. No, and it's not the picture of the alleged picture of taking a picture through the peephole that got the other guy sued by this person. But we were at a round of 64 tournament in Tampa. And where we were sitting, we could see the boxes. We could see the luxury boxes. They were just a couple rows back. And my brother, is that who I think that is? And I look up and I'm like, yeah, that's who I think it is. He says, you think she'd take a picture with us? Could always ask, what's it going to hurt? So my brother stands up and goes and knocks on the luxury box and goes in, and my brother texts me on the phone, come on, dude, she's going to take pictures, but it's only the two of us. Okay, so we got pictures. There is a picture on my Facebook page with me with longer hair down to my shoulders of me and my number 3, the former sports journalist major at the University of Florida, former ESPN sports journalist. I believe she is now with Fox. My number 3 is Erin Andrews.
Nice. I did see that name on there. Yeah. So we have another saying on the show, not the phrase that pays, but if you're the first, you got to be the first to something, right?
Oh no,
you got to be on the list.
Oh no.
Ironically, I have 2 firsts in this list, and they're both back to back.
Oh no.
My number 3, she was the first Olympic winner in 1988 of the women's marathon.
Uh-huh.
My number 3 is Joanne Samuelson.
I didn't see it, but when you said first, she was the first one. Oh no, what did I miss?
All right, you're number 2.
Well, you brought up the phrase that pays, right? You know, you got to be first at something. Well, I'm going to use the other phrase that pays. You're not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number
4.
Patrick Dempsey.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, the other phrase that pays that we hit up again is the first. This lady was the first to be elected to or have a seat in both of the House parties, Senate,
Representative
Congress. I'm sorry, Congress. She was also the first nomination for a woman to be president. That is Margaret Smith.
Wow, no clue.
I know. That's what I was just like.
When did she
first?
When was she president? Wasn't it our?
She was in a nomination. Let me just let's see here.
She was the first woman to ever run for president.
She was the first one to get the nomination, yeah, or be nominated. I think it was actually.
Holy smokes! Wow, I didn't. If I'd have saw that, that would have made my list a little easier to work with.
Yeah,
that's tough. Holy heck! Let
me see if it says here. Let me go back to where Maine. Okay, go ahead with your number 1.
My number 1. That's all right. You're going to be coming back with it, and he's saying that I've sniped you. So I already know. The guy who is the greatest horror, because I got to say this right, because sometimes if I don't enunciate, it sounds terrible. It's my favorite horror writer. It's my wife's favorite horror writer. It's my stepdaughter's favorite horror writer. To me, I love his work. I'm still waiting for them to do The Running Man properly. I'm still waiting for them to do the
64.
64. Thank you. So she was the year after Kennedy.
Yep.
Still waiting for them to do The Long Walk right. But every time they just redid Salem's Lot, I guess. I think it's on. I just downloaded it legally. So I want to watch that because I like his work between his Richard Bachman stuff and his own stuff. I didn't know this, and I didn't. It was my wife, my beautiful, wonderful, smart wife that told me this. That if it wasn't for his wife picking up the 3 pages for the book Cujo, we would never know this name.
Okay.
She's the one that sent the first 3 pages into the publisher. My number 1 is Stephen King.
Yep. The phrase that pays. We should get a sponsor for that, but yes, Stephen King definitely. I'm not a horror guy, but I gotta respect his knowledge and his creativity. And
did you like The Green Mile?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I know he. Yeah,
Stephen King's The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption.
Yep,
good stuff.
Yep. All right, so let's move to our last list before we get to our big list. Maryland. So we had 2 there. I'm just trying to see here. Let's see here. Maryland. We got to do it. I'm sorry. I did have a double up. I do have a double up. I
have 2 double ups.
All right. I think this is where we're gonna go 5. Our C2C Rankem 5 for 5.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm afraid.
If we don't get it, I know the one we're gonna miss out on.
We're gonna. Oh, you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 5 for 5 is possible, but I'm looking at this going. I've got a great.
Don't get 5 for 5. I know the one we're going to miss out on.
We've got a gray spot. We've got a gray spot, but I don't know if we're going to hit it. But go ahead. You've got a double up.
I am going to go with this generation's greatest Olympic athlete, the guy.
Missed it right off the top. Missed it right off the top.
Really? Wow. But
Gotta watch my mouth.
this guy, I don't know how he can swim as fast as he does.
What? No way.
I am going to go with Michael Phelps.
No way. Oh no! Is that the one? Is that the one you thought I was going to miss on?
Nope.
Oh Lord. Okay, hold on. Michael Phelps. He's born in Maryland.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks. He's born in Baltimore. Yeah, let's go ahead and screw that up. Well, at least you got a double up. Missed my grace period. It's kind of funny because my number 5 is a double up, and I'm going to the squared circle. Funny thing is, my 5A is somewhat linked to somebody in my other list from Kentucky at one point. She crossed over from WCW to WWE. To me, absolutely breathtaking. And if my wife's watching this, I'm a dead man. So good thing we're doing both shows today. The other one is the heir to an empire. If you've ever seen the miniseries on Netflix called Mr. McMahon, it was kind of interesting because you see him on there. Actually, you see both of them on there. Actually, you see my double up and my number 4 pick all in there. And it's interesting. To me, it was always, and to me, when it was WWE, when it came up to the divas, it was always between her and my 5A and my and oh man, now I can't remember the other one's name. You met the other one. That's the sad thing. Of the Attitude Era, you have a picture. You and Jackson both have a picture with her. You met her like a year ago, I want to say.
Deborah?
No, the other one. The one that had their father was going to marry.
Yes.
God, I can't remember her name.
Tori Wilson.
Yeah, Tori Wilson. When it was, to me, it was always like I would only turn on for sometimes I'd watch WWE because of my 5A or Tori Wilson. But my 5A is Stacy Keibler. Ooh. And my 5B is the guy who shows up. Now I want to tell you a little story. My brother didn't believe it until I showed him the final episode of WCW Nitro. As you remember, that WCW Nitro was in Panama City. The last airing of WCW Nitro was in Panama City, and we were going there to pick up. My mother and I were going to pick up a car in Panama City from my brother because my mom had bought a car off my brother. And the apartment building that my brother was at was in the exact same apartment building, and the pool and everything else was the same location from the WCW Nitro of the last episode of Nitro. I'm like, he couldn't believe it until I showed it to him. And one of the last people to have been seen on WCW is my 5B. My number 5B is the son of the former CEO of the WWE, the son of the former owner of the WWE, Shane McMahon.
Yeah, that's the one I thought we were going to miss on. I thought for sure you wouldn't have overlooked it and been like, no, he's boring. But my number 4, your number 5, Shane McMahon. So, but yeah, when he showed up on Nitro, which I think he's going to, I said this before, he is going to show up on AEW.
I think it's going to happen at this point.
Yeah. Yep. And the ratings are just going to go right off the roof.
Yeah, it's gonna go. It's gonna blow any. It's gonna blow off any lid off of anything.
Yep. You're
So
number 4.
my number 4 is a person, one of the people who was the reason for the one of the major reasons for the Monday Night Wars. I remember watching Nitro and watching this gentleman come through the crowd and going, "What in the world is he doing?" And much like Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone going, "What the hell is he doing here?" And when he goes, "Hey yo, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here."
Yep.
It was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. If you get a chance, probably the greatest Hall of Fame speech I have ever seen. The last part of his Hall of Fame speech is probably the greatest thing I've ever heard. To me, it probably ranks right up there with Lou Gehrig. I am the luckiest man in the world speech when he on Lou Gehrig Day during the day that he basically retires from the Yankees. I think this ranks right up there. My number 4 is the bad guy himself, Scott Hall.
No, that is a good one. Yeah, that is good. When he passed away, that was tough. That you're right though. His speech, and then the Ultimate Warrior speech the day after Raw when he passed away the day after that, where just iconic. But yeah, when he showed up on WCW, it was just like wow. My number 3, we have one boxer. This box is probably I can hear arguments both ways that he's probably the greatest boxer. He's the greatest all-around boxer, stuff like that.
Oh, you got
get him, you brought up, Apollo Creed and, Muhammad Ali fight together. If we get this guy to fight with Merriweather, how would it have been? My number 3 is Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard. I think Leonard beats him.
Oh, I do too.
Because Floyd.
All right, you're number 3.
Floyd is a track star at this point.
Yeah,
because he runs a lot. My number 3, to me, I feel is the greatest Detroit Tiger of all time. I understand that you got Miguel Cabrera, but Miguel Cabrera came in from the Marlins. This guy has been there the entire time. My number 3 is Mr. Tiger himself, Al Kaline.
That's the other name. My number 2 is my only double up, and one, one the record's never going to be broken. I think we could all set that in stone that his record won't be broken. The second one, you got Ohtani now. They're comparing him to Babe Ruth, the best of Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth did not do what Ohtani did, so I think that's kind of a minute argument. But being able to pitch and hit, within the career, not bad. Got a candy bar named after you. So my number 2, we got Babe Ruth, and my number 2A is the Iron Man himself, Cal Ripken Jr. You're number 2.
My number 2, we have a saying. You got to be first at something.
Uh-oh.
And I completely understand, and this one deserves it. Before Clarence Thomas, before everything else. This guy was the trailblazer. This guy was the first to do it. He got a lot of flack for doing it. But my guy is the first African American Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall.
There you go. Yep. All right. My number 1, this guy is known all over the world. I think he's more popular overseas than he is in the United States.
Do I happen to share a birthday with him?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what his birthday is.
If it's who I think it is, I know it's when it's his birthday.
He was on, two great TV shows. One I watched daily as a kid with the talking car Kit. The other one a lot of people watch because of the women. He's I don't know. I don't like his music and singing, but overseas loves him.
They love it here.
My number one is David Hasselhoff.
And I share a birthday with him.
All right, you're number one.
But my number one is the other phrase that pays. It's, you gotta, you can't, it's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number one, A and B, are your complete number two.
All right.
Now I got a question. Did Tom Clancy own the Minnesota Vikings?
The who?
Tom Clancy.
Who
Who was the author that wrote that owned the Minnesota Vikings?
Let me think here. Let's see.
Because Wikipedia didn't have him saying he did.
Let's see. Part owner of the Baltimore Ravens. Let me see. Career. I don't know if he owned them.
Who owned? Nice going, Tim. It's not owned.
Oh, nope. Yep. In 1998, he tentatively reached agreement to purchase Vikings, but had to abandon the deal because of a divorce settlement. Yeah.
Okay, that explains everything.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's born in Maryland too.
Yep. All right. So with that being said, it is the Halloween season. What list is this? PerWow.com, the top 25 candies they are predicting for 2024 Halloween season.
Candy corn.
Oh, yuck.
I love that stuff.
Oh my God. I could have a few of them, but actually they had M&M brought out a candy corn M&M, which was actually pretty good.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups had a candy corn peanut butter cup.
I can't remember. Well, we'll start at number 15, Airheads.
Those are, as long as, are they the big ones or are they the little ones?
Little ones, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. Those are the same shapes, basically almost the same shapes as Starburst.
Yep. Nerds at number 14.
That's old school.
Yep.
That's old school for us.
The fun size pack of M&Ms at 13.
Yeah, that's just enough. And I'm going to say this: that's just enough to piss you off.
Mm-hmm. Number 12, I'll disagree with. Haven't been a big fan of them. Milk Duds.
I gave them to my dad. Dad loved them.
Yeah. Number 11, Twizzlers.
Love them. Absolutely love them.
Can't go wrong at number 10, Kit Kat.
No, can't argue with that either.
I don't think of this as a Halloween, but they have it at number 9, Reese's Pieces Fast Break.
Yeah, no. You know some of that stuff you can't get here.
Yeah.
I have to
number
go
8, another one that I don't associate with, but it's a mini one. Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
No.
Starburst, the all pink pack, they say.
The all pink pack. What is the no?
Number 6, my favorite candy bar, the Butterfingers.
Yeah. I
Number 5, the most outrageously gross candy, but Tim likes it. Candy corn.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Number 4, Sour Patch Kids.
Love those two.
Oh, I love those two. Yeah. Number 3, another candy I don't associate with Halloween that much. Reese's Pieces Take 5.
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
Number 2, Twix.
Yeah. And
number 1, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Well, that's good anytime.
Yeah, exactly. That's good anytime. But that's what.
No Snickers. Notice that no Snickers miniatures. No Milky Way miniatures. No Three Musketeer mini.
Almond Joys was at 18. Original Starburst was at 19. Sugar Babies was at 20.
No.
Sprees at 21. Tootsie Rolls, the originals, were at 22.
I consider those Easter. I don't know why.
The Tootsie Rolls fruit ones were at 23.
God, the Smarties.
Mounds was at 25. You said Smarties. Smarties were at 26.
Mhm.
The original Hershey candy bar was at 27. Snickers at 30. Sweet Tarts at 31. Bottle caps, my favorite, at 32.
Bottle caps are great when you put them in a glass of Sprite.
Yep. Whoppers at 35. Nestle
Those are
Crunch
just
at
milk
30.
duds.
Yeah, they're better.
No, they're not chewy. They're
Nestle
crunchy.
Crunch at 36. Baby Ruth at 37. And that was it. Three Musketeers was at 39. Lemonheads 40. Hot Tamales at 41.
Where are the candy cigarettes?
God, I don't think I know. I can get them at my gas station has those.
I used to love those things.
Dots at 43. So
yeah. God, yeah, you're just eating papers at that point. Oh no, not those dots.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, Tim, final thoughts for this show.
Stay tuned, because if you really want us to see how we're going to screw up your fantasy football team, please stay and watch, because it's going to happen right after this.
Yep. In about 10 minutes, 10:30, we're going to recoup. We got a special guest if we can get him on.
And I got to pee.
Commented, Kevin. So we will get him on. We'll talk fantasy football. But always a great show. Check us out next week, hopefully on Tuesday. I don't think I got anything going on. Hopefully we'll get the link. But check us out next Tuesday on C2C Rankem. Have a good day.